start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
President Warner.
Yeah.
Secretary Treasurer Horowitz.
Here.
Trustee Pell.
Present.
Trustee Stafford.
Here.
Trustee Welker.
Here.
We have a quorum present this afternoon, sir.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to go into executive session, talk something about contracts. I would like a second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're going to adjourn the meeting, well, not adjourn it, put executive session, so you're going to have to leave the room so we can discuss it internally, and then we're going to call you back when the meeting comes back into public session, okay?
You want to accept the minutes, Ed?
Yes, I'd like to make a recommendation that we can accept the minutes, being that we've all got copies. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have Ryan, who's representing the Stony Brook University, and Professor Gova.
Yes.
Would you like to come forward, state your name, and
Sure, my name's Ryan Wallace.
you can sit
Oh, okay.
there.
You can sign right there.
Oh, great.
You just have to sign.
We can
and state
make
your name.
Chris stand.
Oh, what's that, Chris? Good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. What was your name again, please?
Ryan Wallace?
And you're from Stony Brook, Southampton?
Correct, yes.
And you are your title?
I'm a research assistant at Stony Brook.
Thank you.
What's the resolution number on this, Ed?
I'll look it up here.
So we have two, pages 20 and 21.
The first one we're going to be discussing is authorizes the president to sign an agreement with Dr. Gobler and Stony Brook University for agawam monitoring. Myself and Ann have had conversations, or Trustee Welker have had conversations with the village about agawam and doing a project to monitor the water quality in agawam. The proposal from Dr. Goldberg is for $10,000 to do data logging, buoy and measure temperature, dissolved oxygen, chlorophyll A, blue-green algae every 10 minutes when it is installed in the spring and will remain deployed through the fall. Would you have anything to add,
Maybe, do you want to expand on that a little bit, Ryan?
Sure, so well, as everyone knows, I think agawam is in pretty bad shape as far as water quality goes, and they're consistently have, these toxic blue-green algal blooms once the water gets warmer in the spring and into the summer months and even into the fall. So these devices that we have in our lab can actually give us, high-frequency measurements of not only chlorophyll and standard measurements like oxygen, but also blue-green algal blooms, it actually targets blue-green algae, these specific sensors, as well as even certain types of nutrients like nitrates that we can actually get a lot of information out of. And obviously these would be coupled with discrete measurements for water quality as well. But this, high-frequency data that we can get really gives us a much better understanding of what's going on diurnal timescales or daily timescales within this pond. So with that particular sensor, I know that Chris had mentioned to me that we were targeting the northern portion of the pond, and I think it would be a very low profile. Most of the unit would be below the surface. And it would give us really a lot of information on what's really going on in the pond.
What are the dates it's going in?
It could go in as soon as possible and be in there through into the fall. We usually pull a lot of these sensors out in the fall, just because of ice and things like that. We have a number of these sensors around Long Island. Right now, I believe we have 30 plus sensors. Some very similar to this, some in marine environments, some that are telemetered or giving us live data back to the web that's available to the public as well. So a very similar device that would be deployed in Lake Agawam. And we've had devices in there before as well. And I know that Chris has been working in Lake Agawam at some capacity for like 15 years or so. And I've been in the lab for 10 now and done some work in Lake Agawam as well. This is kind of these sensors are becoming not only necessary, but really the technology is just becoming so much better that we've never really put anything in some of these East End ponds before. So it'd be great to really get this type of data to get a better sense of really those algal dynamics within the pond. So
Yeah. I mean, I know in the past the trustees have done bulbless systems. They've furnished the
Sure, yes.
machinery, and you guys furnished the electric, so it was like a cost share on that.
Sure.
And we also had employed a couple local baymen to go in there to do carp removal. So,
Sure.
we've worked with the village in the past on these projects to do remediation as far as water quality in that,
Sure.
in that pond. I think it's a good project. I believe the resolution, as it reads, it's for $10,000. It will be a cost share that we share with the village and the trustees. I personally think it's a good project moving forward, get some good hard numbers as far as the water quality, and determine whether the drainage system that the village has, very ambitious drainage system project that was done, if it does, help, with the water quality in there.
Sure, and I think just to kind of build on that a bit, a sensor that's never been deployed in Agawam would be this continuous nitrate sensor, which would probably really be, give us really important data regarding especially runoff and things like that, because some of these nitrate concentrations can be quite dynamic in these systems, and it may not be a parameter that would be picked up just sampling once a week or sampling every couple days or something like that. So this could really potentially give a lot of information back to both the town and, as a scientist, of course, information to us as well. So
I think a couple important points. As far as the finances of this is 1 year pilot project, and then we look to hopefully move forward with CPF funding, the 20% of the 2% to carry this going forward. That's one thing. Another thing, a question.
sure.
Would it be possible, perhaps by you, to have a monthly report, just if you came in and talked for 5 minutes about
Sure.
what you're finding,
Sure.
rather than just at the end of the time with a big written report? It would be really helpful to us if it was
I think
suggested, and
I think that's feasible, definitely. So
That-
I don't have a problem with that, unless Chris tells me not to. But I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem either. So
that
Well, we are using the public's money, so it
Sure,
would be really
yeah.
nice to keep the public updated on this
I
project.
definitely agree. I would agree, and I would have no problem
How long is
myself
this-
even coming in. So.
Once you put the buoy in the water, how long does it take before it's up on the web so people can zone in on it?
So this buoy specifically would not be up on the web, the Agawam buoy. This would be a buoy that we would have to go in and offload data,
Okay.
and then,
those are a lot more money So we
Be a lot
couldn't do that this
more. Wow,
time.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that this one, these guys have
the
access to
votes
the
by
data, but if we.
What's that?
We have the votes.
Yes, it's still a very, very,
That's good.
expensive piece of equipment, but once you start doing the website stuff, it becomes significantly more complicated as well, so.
But with
So-
monthly monitoring, we would have that available for the public.
Exactly, you're getting the same data, it would just be, we'd have to go in and offload it
Okay,
and,
it's no problem.
make it available, so, yeah.
Well, and that unit's not installed as of today?
Not that I know of, no.
There's no other units that you've installed locally?
Oh, I've installed many units locally. We
Or
have,
with the trustees?
not
Mill
with
Mill Pond or SAG?
no. Those would be, I think, also in the proposal as well, from what I was told, as kind of separate projects.
So there's no installation that have been done already?
The only installations we have in the area, we have a telemetry buoy in Georgica Pond. We have a telemetry buoy that's running in Wainscott Pond. And then we have a telemetry setup at the Sag Harbor Yacht Club as well that gives us live data.
We were involved with that SAG Harbor water testing. We don't
Okay.
have an IMA in writing with Southampton Village?
We do not. That's,
It's work in progress, that's coming.
Well, before I would vote on this, as in the past, I learned my lesson, not having the paperwork and crossing your Ts, dotting your Is, but it sounds like a great project.
We've reached out to the village, and they're, hopefully, it's moving along as far as
I know,
IMA.
I'll say no more,
Okay.
I'm very hesitant. not
there are
voting on something.
projects in the past that we had handshake agreements with, and it didn't work out very well.
Correct, for at least a year and a half.
This isn't a handshake agreement. This says specifically in this resolution, whereas the trustees, the freeholders, and the Village of Southampton will split the $10,000 cost of the project equally. So therefore, this is only $5,000, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what the trustees of the freeholders are committing themselves
So
to.
they have a sister resolution over at the village?
I don't know if the village has done that yet, but their attorney is supposed to be working on
Drafting,
some
yes.
sort of IMA. And the village has definitely, I know that President Warner and Trustee Welker have talked to representatives
Yes.
from the village. So it's not like they don't know this is a project.
And it's really important to the village, so, and it's important, as it is important to us, so I think we.
So in theory, we could, this is only binding us to half of it.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
What
Absolutely.
happens if-
Scott.
What happens if they get their permit to dredge it? Then what happens? We signed a contract for a year,
Well, this is, I think, only this year, and then I think the intention is
It's 6
CPF
months.
picks it up.
6 months, that's it?
Yeah, the dredging, that's
That's 2 years.
that's another,
I know.
That's a long process.
Another animal.
Yeah, that's a long
Yeah.
process. But then, okay, so who's going to take on the responsibility of making the application to the Water Quality Committee?
You mean going forward?
Yeah, because if this is going to be just for this year, you're going to want to get a running start on
Next year.
next year, right?
Next year's
Take a
funding.
James,
Process.
You help me with that?
Because if this is just for this stopgap to get this going as the pilot project, but the intent is for the perpetuation of it to come out of that 20% of the 2%.
it would have to be a joint application, so we would have to sit with the village.
Somebody's
and-
got to spearhead.
Who the leader.
Oh,
Point person,
With
and
help.
who's point
Oh,
person.
I'm willing to
Once
do
we
that.
get the information from the first year, we can put it into the proposal, and it'll all be there.
but we could start that process,
We
Scott.
should,
Yeah.
because you
Okay,
know how long
that's
these
fine.
things go.
You're going to give us a actual written, proposal on all the parameters, and we're going to look for CPF funding, so we take that, the information, the two, village and the trustees, and go and put it together.
It's always a process
Yes.
going through the committee, so we're going to want to
Yeah.
have a good plan
Yep.
before we get there.
Great.
Right, as we've learned with Mecox and Sagaponic
Yes.
Pond, right?
Sure.
The next resolution is the authorizes Global Stony Brook University to install data logging buoys in Mill Pond and Sag Pond.
James, did you get any type of email saying they were installed?
No,
No? Okay. No correspondence back and forth?
not actually installed. They did request that it be installed, but no.
So now, how is this project working? This is different than the other one, because we're not asking you to do this. This is something that Chris and his students are looking to do in our water bodies, correct?
Correct, yeah, so very similar in nature of the Mill Pond project. this is really for, scientific research purposes, but also, the data, again, would be available to anybody who's, interested in looking at it. And the system that would be in Mill Pond would be virtually identical to the one that would be in Agawam. And it's in an area in the, if I can remember Mill Pond, it's been a little while, the northeast portion of that pond. And the reason it's going to be in that location is really just because it's an area where we have a decent amount of depth to put this unit, but also we've been looking in this same kind of location for many years now, so it gives us kind of a good comparison between, new data and historical data.
By Deerfield Road,
Correct, yes.
where all the bad runoff that
Correct.
the town has managed to do, drainage to mitigate it, so.
Correct.
See if there's any difference in, over the years of.
Correct.
Quality's gotten better or the same.
Correct,
And
yes.
how is this being funded?
It's not really funded at all, as far
This
as
is
I
a
know.
research project.
Yeah, this would be
that
kind
They're
of,
asking
Research,
us.
yeah, this would be a research project that we would, do,
Both Mill Pond and Sag Pond.
I knew
Yeah,
that,
and-
but I figured people would want to know that.
yes, yeah, so this would be, us, taking care of the cost for that.
Okay.
The difference between, I guess, slight difference between the Sag Pond location would be that Sag Pond, we would plan to telemeter the system, in which we could actually, anyone would be available to look at live data
Okay.
on the web at that location. So that would kind of be the most advanced system, at that location. The plan for that location, we went out and just kind of, did some kind of snooping around in Sag Pond to see where would be a good location. And the plan would be to put it in the southeast corner of Sag Pond. There's a dredged hole in there. I'm not sure if anyone was aware of that. It's kind of surprising to me going in there, but.
It's a little channel.
So, and we'd probably target that location just because of the depth. I know that the water level fluctuates in there, and especially probably when the breach is opened or the inlet in the south there, so.
How much fluctuation is in Sag, high bay and a low bay?
Hasn't been much lately. It's
No,
just low.
I mean historically though,
You can't tell, it depends on which way the wind's blowing,
4 feet of water?
at least.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was one thing in there. We had gone in there actually at one time just to look. We had been installing buoys on the east end, and on our way back, I said, "Oh, let's take a look." And the water level was even different from the couple of weeks we went in there. So, so that and it's pretty shallow, in other areas of that pond. So our original thought was to kind of put something on the bridge there, but then we thought that it would be, it's fairly well trafficked and just could potentially, cause some issues or something like that. So. So our thought was to put, a small type of buoy in that deeper hole, which is in that southeast corner of the pond.
Oh, probably in the summer.
So my follow-up to that would be,
Sure.
when you come in and report on Lake Agawam, could
Sure.
you also update us on both Mill Pond?
Definitely.
and
Yes, without a
Sag
doubt.
as
I
well?
think that would-
Is that just for us
Yeah.
and for the public?
Sure,
It
definitely.
would be hugely helpful and
Definitely.
beneficial if you just came in beginning of the month, one of our
Sure.
meetings, and we can be in touch about that.
Sure, I think that's great. Yeah.
We're in the process of doing a project with Dr. Souza and the town on Mill Pond, so.
Okay,
Would
great.
that information on this buoy be readily available to?
Yes, yeah. So like I said, the Mill Pond buoy would be.
Logical, I believe, is his company, so.
Okay. Yeah, and I said the Mill Pond data, if we had, a meeting once a month or something, I could, put together that,
Okay.
data pretty easily, so. The only, and the SAG buoy is great because anyone can go on, you could go on and kind of, the way that we've set up these buoys in the past, we've had kind of a nice graphical interface. You can look at data, you can make, graphs and adjust parameters and things like that, and then we then post-process the data afterwards, but that could then be made available as data sheets and figures or anything like that.
What's that website, Ryan?
Right now, our website is on the Gobler Lab website.
Right.
And we have some other buoys up there that you can kind of click on and see. There's a map on there.
Okay.
I think if you click on, I don't know the exact website, but if you just search Gobler Lab Stony Brook and then
It
click
comes
on
up.
that website, there's a water quality section, and you can click on there.
Okay.
Georgia Pond's up there, Wainscott Pond. We have a station in Bellport Bay. So kind of, all around the East End, we have a number of these, water quality monitoring stations, so.
Okay, great.
Any more questions? No. All right.
Good.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for coming in.
Thank you, Ryan,
Great, yeah,
so much.
excellent.
We'll be
Okay.
in touch.
And then was there a bivalve part of this too?
Yes, if you want to talk about that, we didn't have that information.
Okay, okay.
But if you want to just describe both of those, and then that'll be dealt with at another
But
point,
the
just
meat
because,
cups, oysters, and
and
monitoring a
Sag
couple.
Pond, we're not going to vote on that today, but if you
Okay.
can just talk about it since you're here.
Sure, yeah, sure, and I think that was on Sag Pond and Mecox, I believe.
Yes.
And I think this was really to go out there and put these kind of oyster grow-out apparatuses, and they'd basically be essentially surf clam shells that would be hung at the surface of the water to look for larval settlement. I know Mecox Bay, well, historically, is very, good oyster fishery. And then I guess Sag Pond, I would imagine it's unknown, or there's nothing in there.
There's never been an oyster
So-
fishery in Sag.
In Sag Pond, so, which
But-
isn't surprising, but potentially with water quality data and maybe some information from these, small grow-out apparatuses, we may be able to find that information for even the potential for oysters to be grown out in there.
But Ed, you had a suggestion for alternative shellfish in Sag Pond. You mentioned it to me at one point, and now I'm not going to be able to remember it.
Well,
Was-
we had discussed putting the oysters in there to see if they survive initially. And if the salinity goes to 0, we know they're not going to survive.
Sure, yeah.
Or even below 10. There have been times where Sag has had a very high salinity.
High salinity, okay.
And if it's opened and flushed more frequently, the salinity will stay up.
Okay.
Once it gets to a prolonged period where it's closed, the salinity and the amount of groundwater, right, Bruce? It just feels, I mean,
Okay.
putting the oysters in there, you're gonna see, it's like a canary in a coal mine, I think.
Okay.
You're gonna see, you put them in there, it's 20, and 3 weeks later, it's 0.
Sure.
We kind of realize, well, we can't grow oysters in here.
Okay.
So it'll give us a definitive answer how, or if we can grow that
Okay,
type of
yeah.
shellfish in there.
I think another portion of it was to also, I would imagine specifically in Mecox, this was to actually remove a number of oysters that are in there to look at
Meat
diseases or
Yeah,
general
yeah.
health or.
The health of the
Sure.
animal, basically, we would like to do it prior to them spawning.
Sure.
And then during the spawning cycle, and then a month or so afterwards to see, how the
Sure.
oysters,
coming
fares.
back.
They come back and,
Sure.
see what they look like.
And
Yeah.
also, the president of Southampton Town Baymen's Association, Will Caldwell, had specifically asked about meat indices, so just the
Okay,
growth.
sure,
So
yeah.
that was another thing I had discussed
Okay.
with Dr. Gobler.
Yeah, and that would be something that would be done in any oysters that would be out there now.
Okay.
I think a big thing to note is that oysters are usually spawning in late June. So obviously, if the sooner the better, I guess, only because
Yep.
it may be something that would then end up being a 2020 type of
Well-
project. So
Well, the reason we want to correlate with the buoys that we have in there, the salinity, the fluctuations of salinity, and the fluctuations of the oysters and how they're, basically with a meat indice, if it's very fresh, the oyster isn't going to eat, or it's not pumping, it's not going to be a very healthy animal.
Sure.
If the salinity is 20 or 18 or 22, they're going to be a pretty healthy animal. And then we can correlate the two between each other, because there's millions of oysters in there, so it's a huge, filtering mechanism that keeps the Mecox checks and balances.
Sure.
Basically.
great.
Okay?
Great, thank you so
All right,
much,
thank you.
Ranyan. We
Great.
really appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Excellent.
Ryan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yep.
All right.
And
See
your
you next
contact
month.
info is there?
My
so that I
cell
can
number's
be-
here, so that's probably the
Okay.
easiest way to reach
Okay.
me. But yeah, so
Okay.
if you have any other questions, let me
All
know.
right, yeah.
We'll look forward to
All right,
seeing you
great.
in a
Thank you,
couple
Ray.
Great, nice
Take
meeting you all.
care.
All right.
Before we go into the public hearings, I'd like to ask anybody if they would like to come and, discuss anything with the trustees in public portion.
Hey, Fran.
Francis Adamczewski.
Thank you.
Here today for the beach closings. Is there a website that people can go on to find out, like, when there's piping plovers in a certain area that you're going to close? I'm hearing through the grapevine that after June 23rd, they're closing the beach all the way from West Hampton to Watermill. It's just what I heard, but
I don't know about that, but we had a meeting before this and discussing the picnic area. There are presently 3 plover nests in or around the picnic area, and we're going to close beach driving on June 25th for that area until, until we're going to suspend it until we get the birds fledged out of there, and then we can reopen it. We don't know exactly how long it's going to be right now because there are 3 nests, and the last nest, we don't know the exact time the eggs were laid, so we don't know when they're going to hatch and how long it's going to be closed for. But as far as the western part of between Shinnecock and West Hampton, a lot of that is county. It is closed already. There are several areas that we do monitor by Triton and East Quogue in that area. James, would you?
We do have a website that shows all the closures for the beach access. It is on our website if you go to Public Information Center.
So do you do have a fence up at Triton then?
You want to come up, James?
Gotta come up here.
And I could sit here, but
You can sit there, James.
I don't know exactly. I don't have that information in front of me, but we do have on Public Information
Because I was
Center, we have a
informed
link.
that there's, like last year, some of the homeowners put up their own fence to keep people driving on the beach. They put up their own fence, and then somebody brought it to the attention of the trustees or the bay constables, and I think they came to somebody, whoever does the piping plovers, and said, no, we didn't put that nest up, the fence up, and they took it down. It was the homeowners that put the fence up to block people's access down at Triton.
Well, if it doesn't correspond with that map, we
So it's on your website?
We have a
Yeah.
map of all the closed
and
areas.
it's a
Okay,
it's a portal that you can zoom in like Google Earth,
okay,
and it has a red outline on the area that
okay,
and we update that daily when we put the closure down.
okay.
Maybe just talk about how to get to that, just so it's out.
Yeah, if you go to the Southampton Town website, the normal website, you go to the trustees, on the left-hand side, it's Public Information Center. Click on that, then the first tab to press the checkbox is beach
Right.
closures, and then the rest you can see the duck blinds, you can see other shellfish and stuff
Yeah,
like
because
that.
just people been asking me, and I was like, I wasn't quite sure that I probably should have just went on the website and looked myself, reached out to them, but
If you stop in the
but
office, they
somebody's
can
like,
give you the link.
it's like the same fence that was up last year, so it's kind of like everybody's kind of like figuring that it's the same person the homeowner who put the.
Well, the bay constables would have accessibility to this, and if.
Everybody has
doesn't-
access
And if
to-
it doesn't
to see those
correspond to the
closures.
closure that we
Okay,
have.
so I'll
then
let them know,
then
because
they
people
can
are
take it
reaching out to me, and I haven't been down there this year, so.
The other thing that you could do, or both things, is besides calling the Bay Constable, has anybody that you talked to used the SOS, the Southampton Online Solutions? It's like basically a paper trail on the computer, right? That's another way to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not that hard to fill out, and.
Well, hopefully people that are watching.
You can do it
Right.
anonymously, so you can go
You
on there
can
and
do-
file it, and then you
Okay.
can follow it through the system.
It's for
to where it's
anything,
resolved.
you can direct it right to the trustees, so that
Okay.
the Bay Constables.
So hopefully everybody
address
that's
it.
watching,
Right.
instead of calling me, you can,
Yes,
Exactly.
or stop by our office.
yes.
On the website or file an SOS.
But people were concerned, because it was like the same fence that was up last year, in
Yep.
the same area, and it was a false fence that was there last year, so. And due to lack of everybody's freaking out about four-wheel driving on the beach, less and less of our, beaches are drivable in the summer, and that's when everybody kind of likes to drive on the beach.
Yep, sure, understandable.
So I'm just trying to figure out what's going
Messenger.
on and message it to you guys.
As soon as we confirm that the chicks have fledged and are able to fly, then we take that fencing down and the website gets updated.
Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody's watching.
Thank you, Fran.
Thanks, Fran.
Thank you.
And
If no one else has anything other to bring up in the public portion, I'm going to go into the public hearings. The first public hearing is to the revocation of waterfowl hunting location permit number 281, William Becker. I'd like to open up the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody that would like to speak to the board about this, to this hearing? If no one wants to address the board, I'd like to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the hearing's closed.
Hearing closed. Thank you.
Excuse me? The public portion's done, and if you want to speak at the hearing, we just closed it.
You put it up after you closed.
We closed the hearing, and then you raised your hand, sir. I mean, it's formally closed. We're going to go into the second public hearing, licensing agreement between the Board of Trustees and Cornell Cooperative Connection with Long Island Shellfish Restoration Program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anybody that would like to address the board in reference to this hearing? If not, I'd like to
Close it and vote on it.
close it, and you want to leave it open for written testimony, or just close it and have a vote on it?
I would go have a vote on it.
Okay, all right,
You have to see what the rest of the board wants to do.
okay, I'd like to close it. You-
I'd
in favor?
closing it, but also receiving comment for like 20 days or something like that, just in
Want a
case.
10-day written,
A 10-day
Yeah, 10
written-
days.
10-day written comment
10-day
to the
written
next
comment?
meeting?
That's great.
All right, are we okay with that then?
Fine with me.
All right, so
Fine.
we're gonna close it, leave it open for 10 days for written
Well,
comment.
why don't you do it 14 days to the next meeting?
Okay, 14 days.
14 days, that'll be good.
I can find my.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The third public hearing is to amend Article 2, Section 17, spawner sanctuaries, and the rules and regulations of the management of products of the waters of the town of Southampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody want to speak on this?
Would anybody like to address the board on this?
do you want to talk, just give a little snapshot of what this is, Ed?
Sure. Basically now it's, which one is it? Make sure I get the right one here, not the other one.
Public hearing number 3.
What's that? It's number 3. What resolution is it?
In your packets, you have a copy of each public hearing notice.
The intent of this is to have the trustees have instituted several spawner sanctuaries in order to protect and promulgate the shellfish species in certain bodies of water in the town of Southampton. This proposed amendment adds Tiana Bay and northern portion of Shinnecock Bay. The addition of the northern portion of Shinnecock Bay is listed as a spawner sanctuary. Is motivated by the collaborative efforts of the trustees, Cornell Cooperative Extension, and Dr. Chris Gobler of Stony Brook University in connection with the shellfish seeding project for the purpose of water quality restoration in part of Long Island Shellfish, and as part of Long Island Shellfish Restoration Project. We have an agreement now with the college. We're looking to expand that with Cornell, increasing the size of the area and increasing the clam population in order to use the bivalves to clams and oysters to filter the water in the bay to make it better water quality. So I think it's a good project. I think it's something that we've been doing in the past, and we have these areas designated off limits to recreational and commercial harvest. So basically, the shellfish will be not bothered in any of these areas. So I think
And
it's
we're just including Tiana Bay
Right.
and northerly portions of Shinnecock Bay
we're
West.
expanding the area. So I think it's a good project, and I think, we worked with the Baymen's Association and people within the Marine District, and they all agree that it's a good project, so.
There's a lot of collaborating on this project.
Correct. So,
Thanks, Ed.
so I'd like to
You want to close that?
close it, leave it open for a 14-day comment.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. We have a fourth public hearing, amend Article 1, Section 1 definitions, Article 13 Oceans Beach Event Permits.
Second.
Open it up. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The intent of this is the proposed amendment will codify the permit requirements and application process, procedures for events, including fireworks taking place both ocean and bay beaches and other trustee-owned and controlled properties in order to better protect natural resources, the products of the waters, and the public's right of access and pass and repass on the beaches within the town of Southampton. The current version, Article 1, Section 1, Article 13 of the applied events on the ocean beaches and fail adequately to protect other beaches and resources the trustees own and control properties where the past events have taken place without adequate oversight and protection of said natural resources, the public's rights, which the trustees are tasked with protecting. Basically, it's looking to expand and make sure that all the events that happen within these areas we're notified of them, and we take it very serious, protecting and allowing access during these events.
Long overdue.
All right? So
Does the board have any questions? I'd be happy to explain anything if there are any questions about some of the changes.
Do you want to do a nutshell?
Sure, I can do a nutshell. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that previously, the trustees only required permits for events being held on the ocean beach.
Yes.
This now expands to all beaches that are under the control or where the trustees have an easement. For instance, we have Peconic Beach Road, and, we have plovers that nest on bay beaches as well, right? And that's a primary concern of why the trustees require an event permit, is mostly to make sure that we are protecting the natural resources and the public access that the trustees have been entrusted with. So, and that does this. And one of the things it does is it also makes the trustees' event permit requirement match some of the town's event permit requirements. That way, there's less confusion about, is a trustee permit triggered or not? Now, if you need one from the town clerk, then you need one from the trustees. Let's see if there's anything else important to add to it. It makes piping plover inspection mandatory. And again, because one of the big reasons why the trustees require notification and event permits is to protect the plovers. Bill, did you have a question?
One thing I'd like to say about it, because, going through this in the time that I've been on the board, up until now, the last couple of years, especially last year, we received more and more of these event applications, and people are doing more and more firework displays, and the beaches and our properties are getting utilized more and more. So it's good that we tighten up the regulations, for public safety and for the environment. I think it's important that, we move forward on this.
My theory on this is that we were getting taken advantage of by another department in the town of Southampton. This curtails that, so we must be notified. And all we asked them to do is a simple plover inspection.
Sorry.
And they were handing out permits left and right, and there was no inspections being done. This just tightens up the rules a little bit more and protects our beach and the right-of-way for all.
Correct. It tightens the rules, it clarifies things. Lisa just pointed out to me, and I thought it was important to let you know. So it lowers the threshold. So if it's just a small group of people getting together on the beach, less than 20, you don't need a permit from the trustees, unless you're having fireworks, right? But otherwise, so it clarifies the number of people that trigger the permit. It's now on all the beaches, and, you still have to get your bonfire permit from the fire marshal, depending on what you're doing and your different activities. But there used to be a lot of confusion about, is a trustee permit needed or not? And I think that this legislation, which Special Counsel Joe Lombardo worked with everybody, including the office staff, on, was to create something that would be clear for the public, clear for the trustee staff downstairs, and also, like I said, so that it would dovetail with the town's ocean event permits or their facility permits that they charge for, and just to bring sort of greater cohesion between the system for people who want to have parties on the beach.
Great, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Joe. Martha?
Is that a long time coming?
I'd like to, no one else has any comments? I'd like to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing to amend Article 13 parking by permit on trustee roads. The legislative intent, the purpose, the proposed amendment, which will impose parking by permit regulations on Dock Road, AKA 50 Pine Neck Avenue, and the traffic circle at Circle Beach, AKA 87 Pine Neck Avenue, which are trustee-owned properties. With respect to Dock Road, it has come to the attention of the trustees that non-resident vehicles are being parked there in a manner that have blocked the public's use of the trustee pier and launching ramp on the site. With respect to the addition of the traffic circle at Circle Beach and 475 Rose Hill Road, Watermill, which are trustee-owned properties, the trustees believe it is to be the interest of the town's inhabitants to add these properties to a list of areas which the town inhabitants can park with trustee road permits. You have a question about this?
So again, I'll give a brief summary. The trustees have what's called a trustee road permit. A freeholder or taxpayer resident can get one of these permits from the trustees, and it enables them to park at Triton Lane, Letter Roads, and we're adding to the list these particularly, which are all trustee-owned roads, and we're adding these trustee-owned properties as well, so that town residents can also park there, and so that's important.
So if a town resident also has a four-wheel drive permit, is that good as a trustee?
Yeah, if they have a four-wheel drive permit, that also allows them to park on trustee roads.
And a ramp permit.
But, say someone wants to launch a kayak at the Rose Hill Road property, and they don't have a 4x4 sticker, they can get a trustee road sticker, and they can park there at that lot, and they can launch their kayak, and they don't necessarily need to go get a Parks and Recreation sticker.
Thank you for explaining that to you.
How are we dealing with the signage for that?
Got to have
Or
made
how
up.
are we gonna, you do already?
No, we haven't yet. I was waiting for
Okay.
this to pass, and then we'll have them made up.
We need it passed, and then we would need to,
I think Joe was.
Another thing, like this Dock Road in Noyak, it's very narrow, it's very small. And everybody in the neighborhood seems to take advantage of, because there's no sign saying one way or another. And I was down there today, there's 5 construction vehicles. Doesn't leave any room for anybody unless you know how to back up a boat. You'll be running into something. And we also, authorized having that area surveyed, so this is the next step, to open it up for all the public. But the 4x4 or the trustee, which is a great thing too, a town permit from the beach will not be accepted. So,
well, in some of these properties that adjoin these roads, other than this, the properties get so overbuilt that they can't even park a car on their property.
Right.
So they utilize the trustee roads, which are basically parking for the residents after they launch their boats or kayaks. So a lot of people it's eroding the ability for people to have access.
But, I do want to say that with respect to 53 Pine Neck, which we affectionately call Dock Road, it's not actually a road, it's a tax map parcel that the trustees own. Just like the Circle Beach traffic circle is property that the trustees own in fee title. And just like Rose Hill Road, it's not actually a road, right? Compared to the Old Sag Harbor Road or somewhere else, or the letter roads.
Right.
So it's also important that, the trustees can regulate how people park on those properties.
Correct. It's really important.
I'll second your motion, Ed.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
You're closing, correct, Ed?
What's that?
You're closing?
Yes, we're going to close it, yes. And we also have, we'll do that at the end of the meeting. Yes, we're going to do permits. Trustee Resolution 2019-203, applications for Upperfield Holdings LLC, 108 Little Neck Road, Shinnecock Hills, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-272-2-45, body of water, Old Foot Pond. We worked on this at the work session, actually several work sessions. It's all compliant to what we need as far as the Blue Book goes, so I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
I have several that we did work through work sessions on that are at the point of resolution. I'll start with 2019-204. It's the first renewal of Kenneth and Randy Grenier, permit FXD 00048, 30 Pennington Point Road. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second one is 2019-205. It's the application of Donald Miller at 11 Bayview Drive, Village of Quogue. Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0902-11-3-8.01. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Next one is the Trustees Resolution 2019-206, application of 56 Sunset Property LLC at 56 Sunset Avenue, East Quogue. Tax map 0900-372-1-10.2. Recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Next one is 2019-207, application of Sanderling LLC, 32 Beach Lane, Village, Quogue, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0902-014-01-3.1 on Ogden Pond. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-208, application Lawrence Callis, 70 Cold Spring Point Road, Southampton, New York. Body of water is Cold Spring Pond. Tax map is 0900-155-1-51. We've been to this at work session. I'd like to see it go forward.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-209, recall and amend Trustees Resolution 2019-190, Daniel Levine, 55 Coves End Road, North Haven, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 0901-6-2-51, body of water, Sag Harbor Cove. We went over this at work session. I'd like to make
Second.
this goes through.
All in favor? Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-210, the applicant Hampton Watercraft and Marine, 44 Newtown Road. It's a second renewal of the application of CTUC 5 LLC, permit number FLD 00019, 50 South Bay Avenue, Eastport, New York. Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-365-1-14, body of water, Seatuck Cove. This is a second renewal for extensive work in a marina in Eastport. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-211. This is a modification and first renewal of permit number BLK 00139 in the name of Gina Feeney, 18 Cricket Path, Remsenburg, New York, Suffolk County, tax map 900-380-1-35, body of water, Mauritius Bay. This is to modify decking of the boardwalk to TimberTech composite decking and to increase the native vegetation, not to increase the native vegetated, non-fertilized, no-mow buffer to 10-foot landward of the 4-foot boardwalk. I'd like to recommend its approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-212. This is application of Marguerite Strauss Revocable Trust, 168 Dune Road, West Hampton Beach, Suffolk County Tax Map 905-20-1-19, body of water, Moneybog Bay. This is to reconstruct in place existing bulkhead. We discussed it extensively at work session, like to recommend its approval.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-213, warrant number 10 for the sum of $26,002.08. Could you please read the check?
Absolutely.
Register.
Advanced Auto Parts, $27.25. BNB Bank, $909.96. Riverhead Building Supply, Inc., $108.75. Rosemar Construction, Inc., $24,400. The Southampton Press, $176.03. Staples Contract and Commercial, $35.69. Town of Southampton, $59.28. Verizon Wireless, $285.12, totaling $26,002.08.
Thank you, Lisa.
We need a second, Ed?
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-114 authorizes the property survey with Squires, Holden, Weissenbach, and Smith. I believe this is,
53 Pine Neck Avenue.
so I'm looking, 53 Pine Neck Avenue, we just discussed it. I recommend,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-215 authorizes the purchase of services from New York SID for Lake Agawam weeding and maintenance of the rain garden. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2019-216 authorizes the president to sign a license agreement between the Board of Trustees and Cornell Cooperative in connection with the Long Island Shellfish Restoration.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2019-17, notice of adoption to amendment, Article 1, Section 1, Article 17, beach event permits. I recommend that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chris. Trustee Resolution 2019-218. I believe we're going to have this closed and leave it open for 14-day public comment, correct?
Correct.
Still
That's
with
what we voted
that,
on.
Martha, or you want to table it to the next meeting?
Well, the trustees are holding it open for a 14-day written comment
Yeah.
period, so we can't vote on it.
We're not going to.
Okay, so we'll table the adoption to
Table
the
it
next
to
meeting?
the next meeting.
To the
Okay, so
next
that'll be
meeting.
the night meeting of the 9th.
Yep, and at that point, we can vote at it.
Okay, so you need a second on the table, Ed?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Resolution 2019-219, and this is yours.
This is an authorization of the president to sign the agreement with Dr. Chris Gobler of Stony Brook University for Lake Agawam monitoring, as was just discussed with Ryan Wallace, the research associate from Southampton Stony Brook. This would be a collaborative agreement between the village and the trustees, splitting the cost of the buoy, the cost of $10,000. I would like to recommend its approval.
Second.
I have one question before I vote on. Now, we're going to need to enter into an IMA with the village on this, correct?
Yes.
So how does that play into us allowing me to sign it?
Well, so this is pretty much for you to, we can always recall and amend if, we don't know what the structure of the agreement will be right
Yes.
now, right? It may be that the IMA between the village and the trustees is just simply to split the costs. And then
Okay.
each one signs a contract with Dr. Gobler.
Yep.
The way this is signed up right now, it's for the trustees to sign a contract with Dr. Gobler. So we can always recall and amend it if when the contract is presented to us, it's a comprehensive global IMA, as opposed to sort of individual contracts with Stony Brook, with each of the, the trustees in the village. We can fix it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a really good project. I want to make sure it goes forward, but also make sure that we do all the,
Right, I
proper
think at
paperwork.
this point, we know that we're gonna contract services
Okay.
from Dr. Gobler, so we can have the resolution structured the way it is right now.
I'll say yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. Unless we got a contract in hand, as I got stung before, I'm not gonna get stung again. And if I'm perfectly fine with everybody else voting, but I'm not gonna do it.
I want to make sure it's all on the table here.
Yeah.
It's very, very, transparent.
Do you want me to call the roll, Ed, or you're
Yes,
okay?
I think we should do a roll call. That way,
Okay.
yep.
President Warner?
Yes.
Trustee, I'm sorry, Secretary Treasurer Horowitz?
Yes.
Trustee Pell?
Yes.
Trustee Stafford?
No.
Trustee Welker?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 4-1.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Trustee Resolution 2019-20, and this is also yours.
This is an authorization for Dr. Gobler and Stony Brook, Southampton, to install data logging buoys in Mill Pond and in Sag Pond. These would be research buoys that the graduate students are working with, and we're just authorizing them to use the bottomlands of these two ponds. I'd like to move this forward.
I'll second it. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Trustee Resolution 2019-221 authorizes the president to sign a contract with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Suffolk County for shellfish spawning and seeding. This is our standard contract that we have been engaging with for many years with Cornell. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it's at 700,000 clams, 50,000 oysters, 40,000 bay scallops.
Correct.
And these all go into sanctuaries.
No, they all go into the bay.
The bay,
Well, some of
sorry.
them have gone into sanctuaries.
Different areas.
When we get the shellfish at the end of the year, we usually sit and discuss the best areas to put the shellfish in. So, and at the end of the year, we get a report, and Cornell goes out with their GPS and plots all the areas where they put the shellfish into the bays. So
Thank you.
it's a good program. So, how do you have anything else?
You got a
We have one
walk-on?
walk-on?
Yeah, that's right. Right. We do have one walk-on. I like the walk-on.
Second that, walk on.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And on the underlying resolution?
Yeah,
Same
What?
motion, same second?
Same.
To
yep,
adopt?
yes.
Do you want to read the,
Yes, I do. Authorizes the president to execute any and all documents in connection with the preferred vendor, New York State Industries for the Disabled, Inc., NICID, for our archiving grant, which we have received. The grant is for $74,000, $74,963. It's to inventory all of the trustees' material that we've gathered up for decades and best store it and take care of it for the future generations.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
It's a great project.
Lisa,
Yes.
thank
Great
you
project.
so
Thank you,
much
Lisa.
for your
Yes,
work
it's
on
very
this.
exciting.
Yes.
Very
Long
exciting for the
overdue and
trustees.
Great project for the
Very
trustees.
exciting.
Yes, it was a
Great.
group effort with
It's-
Martha's great advice, and
It's creating a museum, basically.
It's a
yes.
long time coming,
So, thank you.
long time coming.
You can come up here.
Really, but I got nothing to talk about.
Francis Adamczewski again. You closing the whole area of the picnic area? Or
Yes.
is the whole drive-on beach will be closed? Is
According
there
to
another
Fish and Wildlife
alternative you
and
guys
DEC
could have?
We're trying to work out alternatives. We're trying to come up with some ideas, working with the village.
Yes.
Working with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, trying to come up with some.
Yeah, I just wanted to
It's
ask.
It's an
I just-
alternative solution. It might not be driving on the beach, but it'll be access on the beach for the people to bring some of the stuff. It's something we have to work out with the village. We had a meeting prior to this, and it was, executive session, so I'm not at liberty to really put it out there yet until we get it formally resolved between us and the village.
What is out there is, we're following federal guidelines.
Yeah, I
We're doing-
understand. I know, I seen where the nest were, they got them all.
We're doing the best we
But
can.
the other side of the beach, there doesn't seem like there's anything there. I just didn't know what the
Well,
guidelines were
it's-
to how far you have to be away from
1,000 meters,
which
In
is
all
either
directions.
3,000
feet,
Either
6,000 linear
side.
feet of beach. It's going to close the whole entire county
Hampton
park.
Bays.
And,
It's a radius.
yeah, it's large.
I'll get you
But-
on both sides.
But I look at it, if they're left alone, they fledge, they come off, we're going to get our beaches
Well,
back early.
I've been down there on the weekends to make sure
Yeah, well, I
everybody
think-
stayed away.
That's the
Thank
best
you.
way, because if the faster they fledge, the
Yeah.
faster.
Well, they
we-
will re-nest, so if something happens to
Yeah.
the nest now,
Delay.
then it's a delay. So,
You can still walk on.
yes.
Foot traffic.
But,
This is just about vehicle
And
traffic.
just so you know, this affects the county park too.
I know, I was just down there this weekend, because I went surfing down there this weekend, and Dick said,
Right. And
don't be, I just, hey,
Right.
Mike.
Yep.
so, just so you know also, we're all trying to work with everybody together to collaborate on getting
And we
the
will keep,
maximum public access.
and we're going to keep everybody updated as it
I'll be on the webpage.
Yep.
Because I just didn't know how far, everybody was saying different things. and
No.
I just wanted to,
As of right now, that's
Sure.
what it is.
Guidelines 1,000 meters is what their guideline is,
All right,
From each
Fran?
nest.
from each nest, in either direction.
yep, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Fran.
Thank you.
Just so that the board, just to get you up to speed, I attended another Suffolk County dredge meeting before I came to this meeting. This one was specifically about the old Fort Pond project, about that dredging project. It's still a work in progress. It's a huge project. It's approximately 18,000 cubic yards is what the target is. And it's an ongoing collaboration between the town, the trustees, the county, the state, and the university on making determinations on suitable dredge spoil sites and the engineering and also how you pay for all of this stuff. So it was another chapter in a series of meetings to try and get that project done. So basically, I think what's going to happen now is there's going to be some discussion among the folks that handle the engineering of these type projects for the county, and a good hard look at the available dredge spoil area, and then perhaps a working backwards and making a determination of how much material that can accommodate after you get done building the weir all the way around with all the walls to contain it, pumping material there, having water flow be able to get back into the bay, and then I think there'll be more as we go. This has been going on for a long time. It's a work in progress. The trustees, this board initially offered up properties that we own as part of the equation, but the mathematical calculations, it's just not going to work out. They need substantially greater acreage in order to accommodate what needs to be done.
So they're gonna use our parking lot or not?
Doesn't look like it's going to be feasible to use our parking lot based on, by the time you build all the walls around that area and you calculate the amount of material that you can accommodate there, it doesn't seem to make sense. It makes more sense to try and work on engineering to get it towards the campus area. Okay?
It's double the amount of material. It went from 10,000 to 18,000.
Yeah, well, the last time that it was really surveyed was before Sandy, so before, Superstorm Sandy, so they really are due to do another evaluation. But with the calculations that they have, best educated guess that the group was there could come up with was somewhere around that 18,000 cubic yard mark. This is going to be a long time, a long haul, but everybody's kind of trying to get around the table to solve the problem, because it is a problem. Okay? So I've gone through a series of these meetings, and I'm just giving you the update of today's meeting. If you have any further questions, I'd be more than happy to discuss them with you.
Thanks, Scott.
Great,
welcome.
thank you, Scott.
James, would you like to give us an update on the Long Neck Sylvan Road Canal dredging as far as the birds in the area and where the county's going to be as far as the project?
I don't have an update when they're gonna start. They said they were gonna try to start on Monday today. We did do a survey on Friday for them. It was a 3-hour survey of the area on both sides of, it's, the point.
Goose Creek Point to,
Yeah, right.
or along the canal?
So we performed the survey. We had, a couple great goals and stuff, but sent that over. So
Okay.
hopefully Fish and Wildlife and Army Corps issued the permits for it.
Oh, good.
I think they were intending to start the Long Neck today.
And I think one of them, they said that they did the survey for, and it didn't need to be
Sylvan,
dredged.
Sylvan, they said that when they had the survey done, there was no material.
Okay.
There was not enough material to do anything, and obviously, well, not obviously, but just so that you're aware, when you push into too much of a siltation situation, they won't do that.
They can't
Stop.
do-
They
yeah.
can't do it.
Because it creates turbidity in the water.
Correct,
and
they can't do that. So when they looked at the available amount of material that they could do, it didn't meet the tests for actually survey of needing that area. But they're doing everything they can, they're taking another look at it, they're gonna do the best they can for that area. They understand the importance, and the community there needs to have that interface taken care of. They get it, and they're being as responsive as they possibly can.
So we're going to utilize our newly acquired piece of property for a deposition site, which will be a wonderful thing.
Love it
So-
when a plan comes together.
Yep, okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else?
Thanks, James.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, James.
All right, I'd like, anything?
No, that's
All
all.
right. Like to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.